Good morning and welcome to Christ Central Daily Devotional. I'm Fiona and I'm going to be reading to you today from Hebrews chapter 1 verses 7 to 14. Okay. But about the angels, God said, God makes his angels winds and his servants flames of fire. About the Son, however, God said, your kingdom, O God, will last forever and ever. You rule over all your people with justice. You love what is right and hate what is wrong. That is why God, your God, has chosen you and has given you the joy of an honor far greater than he gave to your companions. He also said, you, Lord, in the beginning created the earth, and with your own hands you made the heavens. They will disappear, but you will remain. You will all wear out like clothes. You will fold them up like a coat, and they will be changed like clothes. But you are always the same, and your life never ends. God never said to any of his angels, sit here on my right until I put your enemies as a footstool under your feet. What are the angels then? They are spirits who serve God and are sent by him to help those who are to receive salvation. So in this passage, we learn that as the Son of God, Jesus is superior to the prophets of the Old Testament and to the angels and to Moses himself. But I've decided to make a bit of a tenuous link this morning and to take one line to focus on. And I'm sure it's talking about Jesus being the chosen one, but I've kind of twisted it a bit for us this morning. So the line I'm going to choose is, because it jumped out at me, and it was, that is why God, your God, has chosen you. So in the way that Jesus has been chosen to be above the angels, we have been chosen for a godly calling as well. So what does it mean to be chosen? To be chosen means to be singled out for a godly purpose. Ephesians 1:4 says, you've been chosen to be the foundation of the world. You are not here without a purpose. You were chosen before God even created the galaxies. Wow, that's pretty exciting. So how many of us have ever asked a little child, what do you want to be when you grow up? And we often get answers such as an astronaut, a footballer, maybe a ballerina or a prime minister. And we aren't really surprised that as the child matures and circumstances change around them, that they'll probably follow a completely different career path. So we shouldn't, therefore, however, be surprised that in life, when our circumstances change, often through no fault of our own, that our purpose in God might change too. So when I was a teenager, I had this sense that I wanted my life to count for something. I wanted to be kind of significant in the world. At the time, my life revolved around amateur dramatics. I lived in Caterham and I was a member of the Miller Centre Young Players Group. I'd spend all my evenings and weekends rehearsing for the Miller Centre productions. And it made sense to me then that my purpose in life was actually to be famous. Now, I soon realised that I was neither talented enough nor had the inclination to follow an acting career. But that I did pursue my love of drama in English, and I went on to study that. But the belief that I wanted to be significant in the world didn't go away, but it sort of changed a bit. And I considered being maybe a drama therapist because I thought maybe being significant meant I could make a change to people's lives in that way. But then life really changed for me in a very significant way. And it's this unexpected change and how we see our purpose in it that I'd like to take a minute to consider. So my question is to you this morning, how do we reconcile what we believe God has put in our hearts in a world where our purpose suddenly changes, and sometimes when our world unexpectedly crashes down around us? So, forgive me as I go through some scenarios here this morning. I may not have touched on all of them, but these are the ones that came to mind. So maybe you've always longed for a family and children, but the right partners never come along. Or maybe you met the love of your life, but it didn't work out. And you were left with having to bring up children on your own, having all the financial worries and dealing with your own brokenness. Perhaps you were happily married and had a joint purpose in life with your spouse, and then your partner's taken from you through illness, physical or mental, Maybe you've suddenly been bereaved, or you're struggling with living grief, or you're still married to someone, but that person isn't there anymore. Maybe the gorgeous baby you held in your arms all those years ago hasn't become the adult you hoped they would be. Maybe depression or addiction has got hold of them, and you're mourning the child that they should have been. Maybe you're left caring for a relative day after day, and your life seems monotonous with no hope of ever changing it. Or perhaps you have a mission-centered life, and you can't return to where God wants you to be, and you know that's where you need to be, but you can't go. I'm sure there are loads of examples, all heartbreaking situations, and ones where we will cry out to God and say, so what now, Lord? What have I been chosen for now? What's my purpose now? So we're told in Romans 8:28, all things work together for the good of those who love God, who are called according to his purpose. All things, not just what we wanted or we hoped for, but all circumstances, all situations. Even in these changes, we are called for his purpose. Psalm 37 says, though he fall, he shall not be utterly cut down, for the Lord upholds him in his hand. Remind yourself that when you're seeking God, he will direct your steps. When you seek God, he delights in you. Whatever you're going through, he's leading you forward, regardless of your circumstances. Now, as you all know, my life changed when I was at university and has continued to change over the years. Every operation I have, every new medication I take, every year I live, my life gets smaller and smaller. When I finally became a teacher, a secondary school teacher, I thought, this is it. This is my purpose, sorted. But then I had to leave, more operations. And then I became a foreign language teacher. I retrained. And I thought, this is it. This is the one. This is my calling. But the students all left and seemed to go to a different college. And we didn't have a class anymore. So I became a teaching assistant. And I loved that. And I thought, yep, this is definitely it. I'm going to do this forever and ever until I retire. But unfortunately, I wasn't consistently able to stay well. And then COVID hit. Now, I wait for the Lord to reveal my purpose to me each day. Some days I can achieve a lot and some days I can't. But that's okay. And although my life might seem smaller and actually quite scary because I don't have a firm purpose, I actually think that in some ways it might be getting just a little bit bigger because I'm learning to have a greater capacity to trust each and every day to God. Something I've never really done before. I've always relied on the former purpose I thought was there. It's taken a long time to do this and, I might be getting there. I don't know. So this morning, it'd be really lovely if we could pray together now that whatever life throws at us today, we will be able to allow God to pick us up, comfort us, and to find our refuge and our strength and our purpose for today in him. Thank you very much.